I was doing a birthday party in Burbank, and in the backyard, beautiful day, made the bird appear. Little gust of wind, and the bird flapped and flew. I thought the bird knew what the deal was, not to fly, but it flew up into a tree, and it's just chilling in this tree, and I'm trying to act like that's normal. Behold,
Yeah.
And thinking that the bird would eventually try to fly again and get tired because he doesn't do this a lot, and kind of spiral back
home.
Yeah, because I did have another show to go to. And I'm going through the act, bird's still in the tree, I make the bunny appear, all the kids are petting the bunny, and I'm kind of like, I gotta, all right. So I tell the parents I'm going to come back after this show, and if you guys have a ladder, I'll climb the tree and I'll try to kind of prod him down.
Yeah.
And I came back a couple hours later, and they answered the door, not as excited to see me. They told me that right after I left, as they were singing Happy Birthday, a hawk flew in and ate the bird in front of the children. Yeah. I was like, ta-da.
It's Breaking Bread.
Hey, everybody. A great way to support the podcast and all of the crazy stuff we do around here is to join us at Patreon, patreon.com. Look up Breaking Bread with Tom Papa, and you will have access to hanging with us when everything is over at our after show. You'll also get bonus episodes, stuff from the road, lots of cool stuff. Go over to patreon.com. We think you should join up because then we can talk more when all of this is over. So great to see you.
Good to see you.
Did we do a gig in Vegas?
We did it. Yeah, we passed like ships in the night at a gig in Vegas for
some corporation.
What shady industry? Oh no, it was booze. It was whiskey, or it was big whiskey.
Big whiskey.
I think it was big whiskey,
Right.
big scotch.
Okay.
They were distributors of something.
Right.
And I think you did an all-day part of it. And,
Right.
I did a
Okay.
little in the evening, and
Right.
we high-fived in the hallway.
Yeah, we high-fived in the hallway.
Yeah, good
Right.
times.
Yeah, that's right.
In the
'Cause I was like,
Venetian, I think, where you have to walk forever.
Yeah, right, exactly.
It was
It's one of those.
Palazzo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about it last night as I was watching your special, which is great.
Thank you.
We'll talk all about it. But I was like, why didn't we hang out that night? But I had been working all day and had to leave in the morning, and you were coming in to do like the closer set. And but I would have liked to have hung out.
I would have liked that as well.
Yeah.
We should hang out sometime.
We should, I think.
With cameras
maybe
and
do
mics.
a podcast.
Maybe.
That
This
would
is
be
nice.
cool. You should do my podcast.
You have a podcast?
I do. Yeah.
Does it involve bread?
Yeah, I bake bread for all of the guests. I bake it at my house.
That's real.
Touch it.
Yeah, it feels
Still
real.
kind of warm, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
it just came out.
Oh, it is warm.
I know.
Wow.
You're welcome.
You must live close.
I do. I do. It's
We did
true.
it. We did a charity event in St. Louis too. Yeah, several years prior for Barnes Jewish Hospital, and that's my hometown.
Right.
You crushed it. My parents were there at the show, and my dad. It might have been the hardest I've ever seen him laugh.
Really?
No joke. Like
That's
he
great.
was just like as if he'd never as if it was a borderline medical issue. He was laughing so hard. I was like, "You okay, Dad?" Like he was convulsing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
And in tell him I say hello.
I will.
And as a tribute, I wore the Wilman
Wilman
special
black
outfit,
t-shirt.
the black tee.
Yeah, Obama had a closet full of the same suit, so
Yeah.
we didn't have to have decision fatigue about what to wear.
He did too.
That's where I hear it attributed
I
to
didn't know
Obama.
that he did that. I remember Einstein did it.
Napoleon probably did it.
Probably.
A uniform,
A uniform.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs definitely. Long sleeve mock turtleneck,
I was thinking like jumpsuit, like just go all jump, like a bunch of jumpsuits.
I don't like thinking about what to wear.
I don't
really
either.
hate it.
I go back and forth, but
But I find myself now going in my closet stressing about which black t-shirt to wear.
yeah.
Like some are newer than others. Some have that little
What's
grease
fresh?
spot, that mysterious grease spot. What the hell is that? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That's just ruined
Or it gets a
forever.
little stretchy.
Yeah,
And you're
my
like,
daughter
wait, this isn't the new one.
Yeah, so you're screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you wear this all the time, everywhere?
I more often than not. Not sometimes I mix it up.
Yeah.
Gray.
Ooh,
Yeah.
It's not good in the summer because you get all sweaty.
Yeah, it's very revealing.
Yeah.
Heather Gray, she's a tattletale.
Do you purposely not wear sleeves because the magic thing? There's something up your sleeve. And did the old-timey magicians indeed put things up their sleeves?
Yeah, sleeves are helpful in our trade,
Yeah.
for sure. When I do wear a jacket, and I do, I roll the sleeves up. Mostly, I just feel a little constrained if I don't. But I think the sleeves down, people's heads go to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking that last night. I'm like, yeah, I wonder if he does no sleeves intentionally. Because you put all your things in your pants.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're a pants
I'm a pants guy.
pants magician.
Yeah.
How long did it take to shoot this special? Because I've shot specials and I just have to get up there and just talk straight. And as long as I'm done, I'm done. But you have different things you have to reset. You're moving. There's like a lot of stuff going on.
I am moving.
How long did it take?
Well, just to actually shoot it, we shot it over 2 nights in St. Paul at the Fitzgerald Theater.
Love that theater.
Love that theater.
It's a great
That's
one.
where Garrison Keillor would
I
do
know.
Prairie Home. Good acoustics, I would imagine. But I got there like 2 or 3 days ahead of time because it was just a lot of, with just, I think there's maybe 6 or 7 different like looks, in the show over the course of it, and versus just one. So I had to make sure all that felt good. But
And your
it's
angles, because you do
and the
some stuff
angles.
that's close up, so you have to come up when you went off to the side, and then you have the screen up.
The screen flying in.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was about a good, year and a half of tunnel vision leading up to that, just to figure out how to make the people on their couch enjoy it like the people do when they're in the theater. It's different with magic because there's just so much to get in your way of being amazed on the couch. You know?
I know. It's you do a really good job of it. There's not a you feel very present in the tricks. In the do you call them tricks?
I call them tricks.
You feel very present in it. Like it's not like you're watching somebody just thrilling an audience that you're not a part of.
Right.
Right.
And the picking of people, because I'm putting a lot of faith in these people that I kind of shooting from the hip just randomly call up there. I mean, they're she's now the girl for this trick.
Right.
She's going to help me immortalize this trick I've done for 10 years.
Yeah.
I've had so many great spur of the moment, those things, the crowd work things that happen, and you kind of got all that in your head. You're like, oh man, I got some good gems. If this choose your adventure path goes, but you just have to forget all that and be like, all right, this.
Who's
she?
So
yeah.
So you do. So you
We shot
so
2
you get different
shows.
people, 2 shows,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then you get to choose which was the better person.
Exactly. It was pretty much all night 2.
Oh yeah.
Isn't that always the way it goes?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I always think it's the first show. I feel great about the first show, and then at the end of the night, everyone says how great the second show was. And I'm like, what? I really.
You
that's
shoot
happened
2 in
to
one
me.
night, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's happened to me a lot.
I didn't
where
want to do that.
I am always like, oh yeah, the first one, and everyone's like, yeah, the second one. I'm like, what happened on the first one? I thought it was
They're
pretty
like,
good.
the second one, we watched the second one. We were stressed during the first one.
Right? Yeah.
Do you
that
find,
is
though, if
true.
you shoot them both in one night?
That is true.
Yeah. Do you have
All your
time?
people are just all
All
freaked
your people are
out.
all freaked out. And the second one, they're like, okay, we know what we're doing now.
Yeah,
What is Tom saying?
They can actually listen.
What about, like, if you're shooting 2 in one night, like, what's your window to debrief about, like, okay, anything we want
An
to...
hour and a half, maybe. I blew it last time. I didn't blow it, but I met a person in between my shows, and he was like a friend from Instagram, and he came back, and we hung out and took pictures and had a fun time, and it was really nice meeting him. And I went back and did the second show without eating anything,
Okay.
and I was like, that was stupid. Like I'm low on fuel, and all that adrenaline of the first shoot. By the end of the second, I was like, I'm gonna wrap this up just so I can go eat.
Yeah.
You
I'm
know
just
what I
impressed
mean?
that you would agree to meet somebody.
He was so great. He was. I'll look it up. He was this kid who had this great account, and yeah, I was like, yeah, it'll be fun, and it was fun.
Just a little jolt of joy and distraction.
Yeah, exactly.
Distraction's probably good.
It was
Get out of
good, but
your
I
head.
should have been eating like a bar at the same time.
Yeah.
You know.
You should learn to eat and talk. Mingle and talk.
So everybody for yours came from the second one.
Except for one guy.
Yeah.
One guy, the Rubik's Cube guy. He was night one.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a tough call, but he was just...
Now, when people watch you, they're doing, and you do a great job of talking about the two different kinds of people that come to the shows. Everybody, people who love magic, people who you say get brought by the person who loves the magic, everybody's just constantly, relentlessly trying to figure out how you did what you did and what you're doing.
Yeah.
Do people question whether the people are plants?
Yeah. You mean in the special or just in every show?
Just in general shows. Like,
yeah.
Because I've had that even with crowd work, and they're like, oh, that guy it goes so well that they're like, oh, he knew that guy worked in a bookshop.
Yeah. It's
Right?
the people who just think everyone's in on it but them.
Right.
They're like, they think this is the Truman Show.
That's a good way to put it.
You're all following the script for my enjoyment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try not to like go to great lengths to like disprove. I feel like that's a weird place to put my energy, but I put a little disclaimer at the beginning that all the people are real and chosen at random. I'm tossing frisbees. People think I'm some ultimate disc frisbee player who I can hit the person I want, you know?
Yeah.
But hopefully, you know, that's the least important thing by the end, that they're kind of...
Yeah. What's the other thing that people always try and, like when they're trying to solve it, what's like the repeating... or do people say that you use tech or?
Yeah, I mean, there's, you know, I don't wear like an Apple Watch on stage. I try not to have, you know, I try to be very low tech in appearance.
Yeah, that one time you pull out the ear things that you were.
Oh yeah.
Your mic.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Just to prove to people.
Yeah. You know, like that printer trick where I ask,
That's
you know,
so great.
I'm trying to get somebody to guess how they think I did it, you know, and I'll have, you know, like I want them to say it's a printer in the box. That is the correct wrong answer. But I'll have, you know, when I was doing shows in LA at the Magic Castle to prep for the special, people would be like, how do you do it? Producers. I think you have producers. I'm like, what even does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
You produce this audience.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
Are your hands stronger than most people's hands?
Oh, I mean, they're pretty strong. They're nimble.
Yeah.
They're well worn.
Mm-hmm. When did you start doing it? When you were a kid?
When I was a kid.
How old?
12.
12.
Yeah.
What was the first trick you nailed?
Well, and it was all because of my hands. When I was 12, one day after school, put on my rollerblades, go to my buddy's house, and I get there, and all my friends are there, but they're on bikes. No one's on rollerblades. I thought it was a rollerblade hangout, you know. So they're like, "We're gonna bike up." They're biking somewhere. I can't keep up with them on rollerblades, so I hop on a bike with my rollerblades on, and we're heading to the grocery store, wherever we would go, whatever, get candy and I fell off. I was going down a hill. I fell off, broke both of my arms at the same time. Yeah, was in cast for 6 months, and my doctor, when I got the cast off, recommended I learn magic as physical therapy. So he prescribed me card tricks. Basically, he gave me a little card trick book, and so that became my thing.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so great.
Yeah.
How were you trying to ride the bike?
I had standard bike riding
with your rollerblades
with
on?
rollerblades on the little pedals. You know, but they're wheels. They're going every which way. You know when you're pedaling too hard and your feet slip off and you know, rack yourself?
Yeah.
Is that what we used to say?
Yeah.
Oh, I racked my balls, whatever.
Right.
So that happened and I broke my arms.
Ah.
Yeah. Double whammy.
That's brutal. How
Yeah.
old? 12?
12.
Jeez. Where were you? Where'd you live?
St. Louis, Missouri.
In St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
You a Cardinals fan?
I'm a Cardinals fan. Circa mid-90s. Like that's in my world, in my mind, like it's still Willie McGee and Ozzie Smith out there, you know?
Yeah. Do you still watch now?
No.
No. Interesting.
How's Mark McGwire doing?
He's doing great.
Is he slugging it?
He's going against the Sosa guy.
Is he still huge? Yeah, that's my golden era. And then I went to college in Boston and I fell out of sports.
So 12 years old, you start with it. That's so great.
Yeah.
I remember getting like a book of card tricks around that age. And it's so empowering. Like it is the coolest thing when you can put it
Because you
together.
can do something that amazes your parents.
Yeah.
Like, you know, legitimately. I mean, it's a lot of pressure on your parents because also you do a lot that does not impress your parents.
Right.
And they're confused. They don't know whether they should act like they were amazed or they should tell you they weren't amazed so you know to keep working at it.
Yeah.
But whatever the case, it worked.
I also got a plastic top hat that had like buttons in it and stuff.
Really?
Like, there was like it was literally like plastic, and it would have like the handkerchiefs and stuff. Everything was stuffed into this hat. It was like a Swiss Army knife of magic for this hat.
Go gadget hat.
Yeah, and you had a wand and did all the tricks.
Is there footage of this?
No, there's no footage of any of my childhood.
jeez.
It's nothing.
None?
Nah, hardly. It's like 3 photographs.
Your parents weren't early adopters of the video camera?
No.
The Betamax?
No.
No?
Yeah, there's nothing, thankfully. So did you like, I fell out. I got one down and was like, all right, I'm done.
Did you have comedy aspirations yet at that point?
Year 12, yeah. It was right around then.
Because it's like I loved comedy first, Johnny Carson. I would stay up late, watch Johnny Carson just to watch my parents laugh and try to figure out what that joke was.
Yeah.
And Steve Martin, and then magic. But when you're 12, like you kind of, I didn't know how to craft a joke. You're just kind of, you don't have the life experience to do it. But magic is this thing where you're like, oh, I've got a beat sheet to follow.
Yeah.
And a lot of the tricks come with the jokes.
Right.
That are also not age appropriate, or you don't get them, but you're kind of like, all right, I'm Steve Martin now, yeah.
How quickly did you put together an act? Did you have a little act?
Yeah, I think by 13, I had at least 2 doves and a parakeet devoted to the show. That's some serious commitment.
Your parents let you have the birds.
Yeah, my dad. My mom loved just the performance aspect of it. My dad loved the entrepreneurial aspect. I think when he learned that I could, make money doing kids' birthday parties and stuff, he really liked encouraging the business acumen of it. Yeah.
So I'm sorry, 13 you got the birds?
Yeah,
13. So a year after your first card trick?
After the first card trick, yeah. And then by 14, I was like competing in magic contests.
Man,
with the birds.
It took over your life.
It took over my life. So ever since then.
That's amazing.
It's the only obsession I've had.
And did you heal faster because of it?
I don't know. I think it was grounds for malpractice for this guy to recommend card tricks. I do not think it aided in my recovery at all.
Yeah.
But I think it helped at least my parents think like, okay, this is what the doctor said. Like, let's buy him some magic kits.
And you got the word out and did a couple kids' birthday parties at first?
I made flyers, and this was like before any graphic design software. So this was maybe it was simple Microsoft Word. I'd print out the words that I wanted to be on there. I'd hand cut them, hand cut a picture of myself, stick it all in place on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and then go to Kinko's and then copy that.
Right.
With the little pull tabs at the bottom, the tear-offs at the grocery store.
Nice.
Had business cards.
Wow.
With some clip art on it. Yeah.
And how busy were you right off the bat?
My mom gave me a stage name at age 14, Justin Credible. So I had that.
That's great.
Because I knew people mispronounce Wilman because I got called Justin Williams every day of my life.
Right.
People just see Will and then they stop reading. Yeah.
Yeah.
Justin Credible was real
Just incredible.
catchy with a K. Justin Credible with a K.
That's great.
Throw a curveball there. And my parents would drive me around from birthday party gig to birthday party gig. They'd wait out front.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And how much time would you do at these parties?
I would do like 40. I would do about a 30-minute show, and then I would make balloon animals for everybody. I learned how to do that as well. And that, ironically, was way better for dexterity building than card tricks was. Yeah. And it's a good time filler.
Yeah.
If you're ever short on material, bust out a bag of balloons.
I'm sure you read Steve Martin's book.
I did.
There's so many similarities in that path.
Yeah.
Right? Even the balloon animals that kind of into my mind. But
the juggling.
Yeah, and starting young and like really being serious about it. It was like a serious...
It's a whole subculture.
Yeah.
Like growing up in St. Louis especially, there's 4 different magic organizations in this random Midwest town that it has all this
Really?
magic history. Yeah. So I would go to Society of Young Magicians meetings that'd be like in a church basement on Thursday nights.
Wow.
International Brotherhood of Magicians. It'd be like in the Denny's back room, like the partitioned area for private parties. And,
Really?
And it was just me and like 80-year-old men, back when you could smoke inside. My parents would drop me off, pick me up 2 hours later, and
Amazing.
What'd you learn?
That's so cool.
Could have turned out bad.
Yeah.
Could
Did Justin Credible have an outfit?
He was flamboyant. He was not this. I think I watched when I was in high school the Kings of Comedy special.
Big suits.
And Bernie Mac's outfits, like the big pants, the zoot suit look.
Yeah.
So, and in St. Louis, it's Red Fox Town. It's a real comedy town. There are those suit shops. So I would go there, and again, I'm just the only 14-year-old white kid.
Walking
in U City in the suit shop, and I would like bright red pants and the like plaid white and red jacket.
Nice.
I remember.
Nice.
Yeah, which I found years later, and it still doesn't fit me. It's still too big. I would dress so large to hide the birds.
Oh, yeah,
I had
the
14 birds by age 15.
14 birds.
Let's say 15 birds. I had 15 by 15.
So how many come out in all 15 are in the rotation, or they're
They're a couple
the
backups. Yeah, it was. I thought at that time more is better.
Yeah.
The more life you can create.
Yeah.
In your set. So I would pack as many birds as I could wherever they go.
Wow.
Yeah. No
Did
more.
I ever tell
no
you
more
this
birds.
comedy magic story with the birds? I must have told you. I don't. Maybe.
We should tell them. We should tell us.
Comedy Magic Club.
Great club.
Great club, and they have a magician on every show, the comedians and the magic. And I went up, a magician was up and was doing something with the birds, and it didn't go the way it was supposed to go. And he was upset. And he was done with his set, and he goes behind the curtain, and then they introduce me, and I come on the other side of the curtain. And when I'm in the front starting my act, the magician is in the back putting together all of his wares and going home. And he's pissed. And I hear, and it was a bird-related trick, and I just hear banging. And effing bird. He was angrily, I cannot say for a fact he was abusing the bird, but it didn't sound pretty. It sounded like he was taking it out on the bird that didn't come out. Or
wow.
Yeah. And I'm trying to do my act, and I just hear like, whoo.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I really felt
That's
bad.
what it sounds like when doves cry,
Why
yeah.
are birds, is it because they're squishy?
Why birds is a good
Why
question.
birds? Because they're magical, they're sparkle when they come out.
Well, let's see. They are beautiful creatures.
Yeah.
They can fly. We wish we could.
Yeah.
They can do that. But I think they when they are calm and they can go into compact places and be comfortable there for a short length of time.
Right.
Yeah, when they appear, they flap their wings. They look like, where could that have fit?
Right.
As long as you keep them flapping.
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
expanded 5 times. And still at the Magic Castle, when there's a bird act, we call them bird acts, the sound the audience makes is a different sound. Just because it's like they're just getting just visually assaulted with impossible wonder, when it's just a bird, and then they're splitting into 2 birds. Like it's a crazy sound. It's alluring.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
It's got to be. Human beings have not changed very much through the centuries. Like, we are all in awe and have like all of these same instincts of. Have you learned a lot about human behavior from deceiving humans?
That's interesting.
Like, do you notice, like, maybe even when you're like at the store or something, or like talking to somebody, and can you tell that they're more distracted in a way? Or
Well, I do find that the people who have the best attitude about magic, who know that it's not real, and who also know
What?
that it's not a puzzle to
Wait,
be
what?
figured out. Yeah. The people who know, like, I mean, I guess it is kind of it's a big ask for someone to know this unspoken thing, which is, I mean, the same thing that you know when you go to the movies. Like, we know that that's Tom Cruise, and
Right.
you know, no one was probably going to die in the doing,
Yeah.
but you get swept away, right?
Right. You
and
let
there's no
yourself
disclaimer
go.
before the movie that says this movie is best watched knowing that this is fiction.
Right.
Like, we just know.
Give it time.
But we don't know. People don't know that for magic, and I find that the people who like just have that attitude tend to be the brighter, smarter, like just
Yeah.
like better people, like the people who see it as a puzzle, or they're intimidated by like the like that bro, like there's
Where'd the bird come from?
yeah, like those people tend to be assholes,
Yeah.
like in real life too. Like there's
Right.
something about that, you know?
Interesting.
I do find that opposites attract often, you know, in terms of the magic, like that there's kind of a yin yang in some of these couples who come to the show where, you know, one is that magic lover and one's the +1, and I'm trying to convert them by the end of the show. I find people are a lot smarter than I wish they were. Like, people are really hard to fool sometimes. I've learned the kids especially are just geniuses in their simplicity. Like, I'll show a trick to my son Jack, who's 6, and he'll just tell me exactly how I did it.
Really?
Yeah, like I'll do it once, and I might fool an adult with that, but I think they're ruling out the obvious, maybe inefficient way that I could do it,
Right.
and they're trying to think of what's the really clever way, and he'll just call me out, and I find that to be so interesting. You know? Yeah.
Yeah, like he doesn't have as much baggage,
Right.
of things that have happened to his brain.
But I do think lately, in recent years, I feel like the audiences are coming in search of joy and escapism, maybe
Right.
more than they used to be, or maybe more than I was ever ready to provide. But I do find now, like, I feel like it's a real, like I do feel like I'm sure you do as well. There's like a noble service that we're providing.
Yeah, it's
To
interesting.
give these people, you know, just a night of joy, a night of connection with the person that they brought,
Yeah.
a shared interest, a night of just laughs and kind of just happiness, you know?
It's interesting that you say that, because I've been feeling that in a very big way. And I didn't know if it was just because of how long I've been doing it, or if it's the culture is kind of asking for it, and it's been more obvious.
Probably both of those things, I
Yeah.
bet, right?
Yeah. But there definitely is just entertain us. Just give us a good time. Right
Probably
now.
like I feel it more for these, you know, the theater tours than maybe when I was doing clubs. Comedy clubs always felt like a last minute decision to go to that show. Like,
Yeah.
they weren't looking forward to it for weeks. Maybe
Right.
it was like, what are we doing on Friday? Oh, let's go to the comedy club. But like, when you're on tour and they've got this date that they bought tickets for ahead of time, like, there's a
Yeah.
lot.
And it's you.
There's a lot going into it.
They're coming to see you. They know you. They're coming to you for a certain thing, and that's a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it is really interesting. It is funny to think of the people who aren't as bright thinking, I need the answer of this, because if you don't tell me that you put the bird somewhere, then it's a magical force that I know nothing about.
Right. There are other people that are a mix of like the magic lovers and +1s who can enjoy it, but also like just like want to know, because they know that they'll respect the method or whatever, you know?
Right, yeah,
And I feel like that's what magicians are. Like, the magicians love the feeling of watching magic, but as soon as you learn how that works, I'll never feel that way again. Like,
Do you get stumped?
I love getting stumped. I do
Yeah?
get stumped.
You do?
Yeah. And when I do, I try to protect that. I try to not know. I don't. If I could dig and ask somebody, hey, how's that thing work? You know, like Penn and Teller's bullet catch trick.
Right.
It was a real stumper, and I love not knowing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Because it's there's. I'm sure it's like when you hear someone just make a great joke that you're like, oh my god, that's so clean. you probably don't pick it apart like you do your own jokes.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. No.
See the mechanisms in there.
Right. Who are the George Carlin's, Richard Pryors of magic?
My George Carlin of magic would be Harry Anderson. Big influence.
Yeah.
Big influence. Because he was, star of Night Court.
Yeah.
One of the greatest sitcoms of the 80s. But he got his start as like a San Francisco street magician.
Right.
And he was very funny. His comedy magic special, shot at the Comedy Magic Club.
Right.
Called Hello Sucker. It was one of
really?
the first ones I ever saw.
Uh-huh.
And I just, like Amazing Jonathan, also hilarious.
Yeah.
And, on that Mount Rushmore. But his shtick is that the magic rarely, if never, was magical. That was the joke, is that he was, like a coked out maniac playing the role of a magician, and everything was chaos. But
That was a great act.
It was a great act.
That was a great act. I opened for him a couple times when I was first starting.
Yeah.
And just, the energy that guy had, and just blood everywhere, and just stabbing himself.
I'm sure the cleanup for the Late Show was extensive.
He was the first guy I saw that had a press kit.
He
He had a press kit, like a folder with all of his clippings and stuff in it. And I was like, oh,
Did he make
this
you
is a professional.
He made you read it backstage before the show?
He was just an energy that guy.
Did you hang with him?
A little, like backstage, but I was literally the opening act, and he was the headliner.
Right.
This is like the mid '90s, I guess, and he was killing it and probably partying like crazy, and I wasn't gonna like really hang with him.
Yeah, he was a cool guy.
Yeah.
We became friends.
You did?
In more recent years. He passed away a couple years ago, but he was a maniac.
He was a maniac. He
very
lived
funny.
hard, right?
Yeah. And a kind of a hoarder collector, and
Oh, yeah?
his house in Vegas was just, he knew everything was, but it was just stacks of chaos and weird gadgets and
Really?
pranks and blood and vomit and it was wild.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he lived up to his
The real
hype.
deal.
Yeah. But Harry Anderson, his magic was also amazing, and he was funny, and he kind of created this persona that, you felt like like I think in magic, like magicians get away with not having to do kind of a lot of that early work that comics have to do, which is finding your voice and who are you, what's your point of view, and, writing new material constantly. Magicians kind of can fall into the rut of like they've got their act,
Right. Rely on the
and their persona is they're a magician, and that is enough in some contexts.
Sure, you could probably work a long time that way.
Yeah.
But you're not going to separate from the pack and be a distinguished act.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Harry Anderson made me want to be funny enough to be called a comedian, but also really clever and amazing enough to be a great
Did you ever go up
magician.
and do it without the magic?
No.
As a workout thing, or
No.
yeah, because you
No.
are very funny and you're very quick.
Thank
and you have a comic. You have that comic thing.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I like hosting things. I've hosted a lot of things, and there's nothing I like more than being funny. I like that even more than magic. I mean, I would like the compliment that you were really funny.
Yeah.
Before, like, oh my God, you're a great magician.
Right.
But
Well, it is an act. It's an all-encompassing act.
they go hand in hand to me. But
Yeah.
the comedy side, like I went to Emerson College in Boston, and all my best friends when who I kind of buddied up with were stand-up comedians.
Yeah.
Dan Levy, Daniel Kino.
Oh, yeah.
Eliza Schlesinger was going there at the same time. So they would all be going up, Dick Doherty's and, the Hong Kong, all these
That's so
comedy
great.
places. And so I would like come along and, really quickly just by watching them realize like, man, I'm only 19 and my act is already like 10 years dated prior to the, it's just dated, I'm doing kind of,
Oh, that you
hacky.
had
I think
you
that's
got
what
stuff to work and you just kept it.
Yeah, I think I learned the difference between like not every laugh is a good laugh, you know, like you'll get a laugh for a hack joke just because it's designed to do that.
Yeah.
But that's not resonating with anybody, and they're not, the audience doesn't feel good after every laugh. Sometimes they're like, oh God, I feel stupid. I laughed at that, you know? And I kind of was able to start weeding out the cheesiness.
It's amazing. That's the only way that happens is hanging around with other talented people.
Yeah.
And you all keep each other honest. And it's like, when I would go to the Comedy Cellar in the beginning and you just get there and it's Colin Quinn and Nick DiPaolo and Patrice O'Neill and all these people, and you're just like, oh yeah. I mean, you could kill on the road, and then you come and will you put those jokes in front of these people?
Exactly.
And everybody does that to each other, and everybody rises up, and there's like an integrity to it. It's only the other acts. It's pretty wild. This episode is brought to you by IQBAR, our exclusive snack and hydration sponsor. Here's one right here. We're so excited to announce they've teamed up with Thomas Keller, Michelin star chef of the French Laundry, on 2 special edition products, a salted caramel chip protein bar and a yuzu mango hydration mix. All right, I've used both of these. First of all, this bar is delicious. It's delicious. You get a lot of bars and you're like, this is good for me, but I'm going to just power this down. This actually tastes really good and have you actually looking at the label like, why is this good? It can't be good for me. But it turns out it actually is. And the hydration mix, I have a sauna, as you know, and a lot of times when you're done with the sauna, you're supposed to hydrate. And rather than drink like gallons of water and then end up in a weird cycle, I dropped that in, and it was delicious in 16 ounces of water, and a super cool product. This collaboration grew out of Chef Keller's daily regimen of IQBAR products. So he was using them beforehand and just used them, if you're on the run, like on my way here, I just grabbed one. I didn't eat this morning and just grabbed one on my way over to the pod, and just satisfies you. And he was doing the same thing, and then decided I can make these taste even better, and created this collab with them. 10% of the sales go to Chef Keller's nonprofit Mentor, which supports the next generation of aspiring U.S. chefs. IQBAR is free from gluten, dairy, soy, GMOs, and artificial sweeteners. It's pretty great. With over 20,000 star reviews, 5-star reviews and counting, more people than ever are fueling their busy lifestyles with IQBAR's brain and body-boosting hydration mixes and mushroom coffees. Yeah, it's supposed to be good for your brain also. That's why it's the IQ. See? I'm not an idiot. Right now, IQBAR is offering special podcast listeners 20% off all IQBAR products, plus free shipping. To get your 20% off, text PAPA to 64,000. You're going to text this. Text PAPA, P-A-P-A, to 64,000. That's PAPA to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details. But if you text them, don't go to their website, just text them, and you can get 20% off plus free shipping. It's great. You get a box of these, you keep them in your thing, and when you know your day is going to be crazy, you just grab them, throw them in your bag, and you're fueled up and you're feeling great. This is the only thing I ate all day, and I'm still rolling. So thank you to IQBAR. If you are serious about fueling your body with the best, look no further. ButcherBox has clean, high-quality protein without the junk. Whether you're lifting heavy weights or lifting laundry baskets, ButcherBox helps you stay on track. It's funny, just as I was traveling a lot and was feeling kind of puffy, and I stood on a scale and was a little heavier than normal. I think I still look good, but I was like, I've got to lean out a little bit and just eat some protein. And I was like, I'm gonna have to go to the store and have to do it. Luckily, I have a podcast, and ButcherBox sent me a bunch of stuff. You can go in and you can literally tell them exactly what you want, what kind of diet you're on, what you're looking for, and they sent me this great box of chicken and beef was the category, and now it is in my freezer and ready for me to per taken. I'm very excited. ButcherBox delivers better meat and seafood straight to your door, including 100% grass-fed beef, free-range organic chicken, pork, raised crate-free, and wild-caught seafood. All ButcherBox proteins are sourced from partners who meet strict animal welfare and sustainable standards. That's a key. That means no antibiotics or added hormones ever. So whether you're feeding a growing family or trying to eat clean without the stress, ButcherBox offers curated or fully customizable. Am I saying that right? Customizable. Customizable plans that fit your schedule and your preference. And this is a very cool thing. Right now, ButcherBox is offering our listeners $20 off their first box and free protein for a year. Go to butcherbox.com/papa, P-A-P-A, to get this limited time offer and free shipping always. That's butcherbox.com/papa. Don't forget to use our link so they know that we sent you. This is a really great company, and if you can go, if you're in the market and want a good product, use ButcherBox. It's a great way to support our podcast. Are you interested in the history of magic? Like, I love that. I love magic history. Yeah. My mom was an interior designer, and we collected lots of antiques. So I think I just grew up like liking old stuff around me. So, and magic has this, obviously incredible history. Yeah.
And it's got, the props, the posters, the posters are incredible.
Yeah.
And the stories. I just love,
yeah.
If I had a time machine to be able to go back to see, Harry Keller or Houdini, like in those early 1900s, like the golden age, before movies came in and ruined it for everybody.
Right.
Just the live entertainment of that time. I feel like it might be disappointing, like because Houdini, he'd get locked up in a milk can, and then they'd raise a curtain, and then 10 minutes would go by, and then he would burst out, and I feel like people had a longer attention span maybe back then.
That is a very cool thing. I don't know this is the way you were putting it, that you would like roll into town.
Yeah.
And that you are the guy who's bringing this otherworldly wonder.
Yeah.
To
and
the
posters,
town, if you want to check out.
They'd roll in, they would put their, their team would put their street team, you'd slap those posters on the barns. And, it looked like I collect old magic posters. I've got one that is in my son's room, and it's a Howard Thurston poster. Thurston was one of the great magicians. And I could tell they were scraping the bottom of the barrel, with the angles for the advertisement, because it's just Thurston and his amazing pets. And it's just a picture of a horse, a donkey, some chickens, a monkey, and pigeons.
Yeah.
It's like, all right. His pets.
They weren't so great with animals back in the day.
No.
The flying horse in Atlantic City that they would kind of
don't know about that.
They would kick off the flying pier. They were off a pier. They were just throwing it off a pier. They call it the flying. They call it the flying horse.
Would it swim to shore?
Yeah, I guess if as quickly as its broken legs could paddle.
Oh, poor horse.
I'm sure it wasn't the same horse.
I had a traumatic magic animal experience.
Yeah.
And when I moved to LA, I was doing kids' birthday parties. Still just incredible.
Right.
I trimmed the repertoire down. I had a bird and a bunny.
Okay.
So I would open with the bird and I'd close with the bunny. So I'd open with the bird. I was doing a birthday party in Burbank, and in the backyard, beautiful day, made the bird appear. Little gust of wind, and the bird flapped and flew. Right.
Yeah.
I didn't like trimming the wings because it just looked prettier when they were. I thought the bird knew what the deal was, not to fly, but it flew up into a tree, and it's just chilling in this tree, and I'm trying to act like that's normal. Behold,
Yeah.
And thinking that the bird would eventually try to fly again and get tired because he doesn't do this a lot, and kind of spiral back
home.
Yeah, because I did have another show to go to. And I'm going through the act. Bird's still in the tree. I make the bunny appear. All the kids are petting the bunny, and I'm kind of like, I gotta. All right. So I tell the parents I'm going to come back after this show, and if you guys have a ladder, I'll climb the tree and I'll try to kind of prod him down.
Yeah.
And I came back a couple hours later, and they answered the door, not as excited to see me, because they told me that right after I left, as they're singing happy birthday, a hawk flew in and ate the bird in front of the children. Yeah. So
just screeching,
like
kids screaming.
exactly. I was like, ta-da!
It's terrible.
Yeah.
My daughter has a pet rabbit all of a sudden.
All of a sudden,
Yeah, she's in college and came home with a rabbit.
wow.
Yeah. Anything I need to know about this thing?
Oh boy.
Oh, boy.
How'd she bring it home from college? Where'd she go to
There's
college?
one airline. You can take it on the East Coast, and she could only fly on Alaska Air.
They're the only ones that allow
They're the only
rabbits.
ones. Everybody else is, you know what? Dog and cat. End of discussion.
Is it a service rabbit?
No.
Should get a vest for that rabbit.
Yeah,
that
I
would
know.
help.
It would help.
Because I used to fly with the bunny, even when I started doing college as NACA, until shortly after 9/11. I think it was my first trip after 9/11. I tried to take it to LAX, and they wouldn't let it through security because they said no rodents. And maybe that was always a rule. And they were like, a rabbit's a rodent. It's going to chew the wires or something. So I had to send it back to the Oakwood apartments in a super shuttle.
No.
To Dan Levy to receive it because there were no Ubers and I had to still get to this gig.
It just sent the rabbit on its own.
I sent the rabbit on its own. Mr. Levy, I have a rabbit for you.
They do eat cords. They eat a lot
They
of cords.
do chew cords. They're pretty cool. They're, watching them just behave, how they clean their paws.
Are they
rapid
smart?
Fire. They can be food motivated, treat motivated to do smart looking things.
Okay.
My bunny Mojo, I'd make him appear and he would like leap from the pan to the table. And so he was smart enough to know, that.
Right.
But he did like in his old age, he did get a little nippy, and so I had.
What's old age for a rabbit?
Like 1 year old or something. No, 2. I think he was maybe 6 or 7.
Okay.
Yeah. So he kind of just, I
Yeah.
think he just was like, enough of this shit. These freaking kids.
I'm
Just,
gonna take you out with me.
Yeah, because the whole appeal at the end of the show when you're doing a kid's birthday is the kids all get to pet the bunny.
Right.
And kids they don't all know how to pet. So I'm sure he was fed up.
Just people pawing at him.
Just pawing at him. But I would say I hope this bunny. They poop a lot.
They poop a lot.
They can be potty trained.
Can they? Yeah.
Yeah. If you leave the cage open, if it's in the house, they'll go back there to poop.
There's a lot of blankets drying out on the back porch, and I think there's a thing between my pug. We have a pug. And the rabbit. I think they're both marking for her affection, for my daughter's affection. She was like, the pug was her favorite, and now the rabbit's there, and I think they're like, she's mine, and I'm gonna shit in a pile to prove it.
Yes, yes, I could do this. My poops can be spherical.
Right. You and I have known each other for a while. And we almost got to hang out in Vegas. We do a thing on this program called An Uncomfortable Moment.
Okay.
Where we either find something that's out there already or we find something that possibly you hadn't thought of before.
Uncomfortable between us?
Could be.
Okay. We'll find out.
We're both kind of at the same spot in our career. We've been doing this a long time. We're out on tour. We do a lot of gigs. We share the same agent.
We do, yeah. And I see we do a lot of the same venues. I see you're either coming or going from where I just was, yeah.
And there's going to come a time when maybe things are going to shift. Maybe you're not going to want to be on the road as much. So I have a proposition for you.
Okay.
One of us could be good at one thing. One of us could be good at another thing. But I don't know. I know it's kind of been done before. But what do you think of this?
Wow.
Siegfried and Roy are gone, but Wilman and Papa?
Wilman and Papa, it rolls off the tongue. This is unretouched. Wow.
Yeah. Maybe we can afford one tiger.
Who's good at what? Who's the tiger guy of the two?
I feel like you've got the skills. And we have rapport. I kind of maybe play the bumbling idiot next to your magic?
Yeah.
I don't know. We can work out the details.
Well, Siegfried and
But
Roy.
I'm thinking-
Siegfried was the magic one. Roy was the tiger one. We all
Right.
know how that shook out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I just want to plant it. It's getting uncomfortable now because I feel like you're not in love with the idea.
No,
but
I'm in love with the the stitch work here because
we're in Vegas.
I love that chest.
We don't have to catch a flight.
That's nice, right?
We're just hanging out at probably the New Orleans. The New Orleans.
The Orleans.
The
right?
Orleans.
Off strip. $1.99 buffet.
Probably Wednesday through Saturday shows.
That is a service cat
Probably
right there,
2 in
by
the
afternoon.
afternoon.
I've performed at the Orleans.
Me too.
It does have a nice
It was
stage.
a good history.
I love that I'm very Christian. Not one, but 2 crucifixes.
You've got a lot of crucifixes going.
I like it. I did read that I think they're making a Siegfried and Roy biopic.
Are they?
With, I think it's like Jude Law and Andrew Garfield. Maybe, I don't know.
Really?
We're fact checking this live. But yeah.
That would be cool.
So it's in the zeitgeist. They're going to want to see that in real life.
Wow.
We could.
That's pretty great. And then we come in and we're like, yeah, the movie was good, but we've got the real
We've got
act.
the real deal. Yeah.
No one's done that.
Papa
No one's
and
done
Wilman?
a big cat magic comedy show,
No.
right? It's got to be
What would be
prime.
the
There's so
shtick
much
there?
tension.
There's a lot of tension. I mean, that's a big part of the thing. Is like, is he going to die?
Is he going to eat one of them?
Is he going to eat one of them?
And
They
ultimately,
can.
yes.
Yes. Yeah. Yikes.
Yikes.
Well,
you got time.
I'm allergic to cats. Does it have to be cats? Is it a deal breaker?
Ooh, I don't know.
We'll call it Katz's Deli. That'll be the name of the show.
What's another animal that's big for magic? I don't want any of this little bird shit.
Elephants are big, but they're a little too big.
Yeah.
They're too big. That's.
If you treat them well, or will people not protest? Like Ringling
elephants?
Brothers got mad at
Yeah.
people got mad at the circus because they thought that. But if you're giving an elephant a job,
Right.
and he's like,
It's a homeless elephant.
and he's
we've
homeless, and
saved
now
him.
he's a star on the strip.
Yeah. Well, what else would it be? Rhinos, maybe? We're saving the
They're
rhinos.
almost extinct.
Are they?
Yeah. Cats, a big fish.
Okay. That'd be something.
Us and a fish. I've never seen that.
2 man and a fish.
With a shark. A shark.
A shark would be. That would be something.
Us and a shark.
It's gonna fit in my jacket somehow.
Did you ever go to Houdini's house there on Laurel Canyon?
Yeah, I've done a couple gigs there.
Gigs there.
Yeah, I actually officiated a wedding there.
Whoa.
I've
Is it as
officiated
cool as
4
it
weddings.
looks from the street? Like with the.
It looks really
gate?
cool from the street.
Yeah.
And I loved the idea of it until I kind of like researched and, realized it wasn't really his house.
Right.
Like there was a pool there that he would swim at, and he would stay at a bungalow on the other side of the street. Like rent it, when he was in town, shooting those silent. This is before the talkies came along, back in the silent days.
Yeah.
But I guess they did dub it Houdini's house just because he would always be renting that house and be swimming over there.
Right.
But but because I don't think there's like the original structure, it lost a bit of the mystique.
Right.
But it is a cool statue of Houdini holding the chains there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Did you
guy.
ever play around with that idea of like escape stuff?
I owned a straitjacket at one time.
You did.
I did. I never took it seriously. Like I like the idea of comedy escape.
Yeah.
In Magic for Humans,
Right.
I escaped from a pinata once before the kids could beat the candy out of it.
That's funny.
I think in Houdini's era, it served as like a deep metaphor, for escaping the chains that bind you in this new country of immigrants, to rise up.
Right.
But these days, chains and handcuffs and restraints just remind people of the bad stuff
Right.
about America.
That's not so great.
Exactly.
Yeah. Have there been trends in comedy where you were like, like two cool comedians? I mean,
In comedy or magic?
I'm sorry, in magic. Like, the guys that get a little too slick or bad boyish or?
Yeah. I think. I mean, you have to be a really good magician to get away with doing it just purely earnestly without any comedy. Like I'm trying to think of who. Well, Shin Lim, great magician. He's got a show in Vegas. AGT. You know, we won it like twice.
Oh yeah.
And his, his magic is very like without irony and he pulls it off. Like he's so good. He's got incredible hair and he's just his sleight of hand's wild. For me, like any trip to the Magic Castle, like sometimes I get really cringy. Like I can't enjoy myself there because I feel like I know that all these people who are here, this is probably the only live magic show they're going to see maybe for 10 years. Right. So I feel like my entire art form is being judged by this 1 hour show. And if it's, a little, not as good as it can be, like it makes me really itchy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
why wouldn't it be as good as it could be?
It's a lot of rooms to book over there. They've got to please a lot of people, sometimes, this is when I'm in the audience watching something. When I'm in the audience at the Magic Castle.
I've never been to the Magic Castle.
Really?
Yeah.
You got to do it once.
That's what everybody says.
It'll be the only magic show you see for 10 years, No pressure.
Yeah.
Your wife has never been?
No.
She'd be asking you all the time, how do you do it? And you'd be saying,
I'd be going, he's magic. God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to go.
That sounds like a fun
night. I just never
night.
think about it.
You never think about it. That's
Yeah, no.
You think about it when you're cutting across Hollywood.
There.
When you're driving through over Franklin, you're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Magic Castle. How do they afford that place?
Yeah, but it's been there forever, right?
Yeah, exactly.
This was really cool. So now this is the thing I was thinking on the way over. It's like when we have comedians come through and they're like, I have to put together another hour of material and go out there and do my thing. And but for you have to come up with all new tricks. Yeah. You have to come up with all new mind-bending wonders.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It is, it is insane.
Yeah.
A little bit. And then they've also got to be.
Is it easy for you?
Funny.
Am I asking a thing like when people are like,
easy.
how do you come up with an hour of material? It's like, that's what I do.
Like it's always hard, right?
Yeah.
It's never good right away. Right?
Yeah.
But like when you got like a kernel of an idea, where you're like, you can tell when something's gonna be great. You're like, it's not good yet.
Right.
Like I've got a bit that I know is gonna be great, but it's not good enough to even tell my wife about yet.
Right.
Because I don't want to. I can't explain it well enough.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah. You don't want judgment too early, or it'll stop you.
Yeah. Exactly. Like she can't properly take it in yet, but I know it's going to be great. But there's a lot to figure out,
right?
But I've always got some tricks with me. Like I always carry my lucky playing card here. Mm-hmm. Do you have a? Let me rotate this around. Do you have any lucky cards, Tom?
Whoa. A card that's
let's
favorite card.
Let's narrow it down. There's picture cards and there's spot cards in a deck of cards. Imagine in your hand, Tom, you're holding a deck of cards.
Okay.
There's picture cards and spot cards. Do you want to remove the picture cards or the spot cards?
I want to remove as in get rid of.
You tell me. Like
I want to get rid of the picture cards.
You want to get rid of them? Well, I was going to have you remove them and hand them to me.
I'm going to remove them and hand them to you.
Okay, so now I'm holding all the pictures, the jacks, queens, and the kings, right?
The ones with faces.
The ones with faces. Do you like the black cards, the clubs and the spades, or the red cards, the hearts and the diamonds?
I like the black ones.
The black ones. So we've got the black jacks, queens, and kings. I'm going to give those back to you here.
Thank you.
Do you like the? I'll let you. This is no more removing. You can pick which one you favor. Do you like a black jack, black queen, or black king?
I like a black jack.
A black jack.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so pull that black jack out. Great. Throw the rest away. Fold that black jack up into quarters.
Into quarters.
Yeah. So it would fit. So it would fit into a little wallet like this.
Okay.
And just toss it my way. Let me get rid of my credit cards here. No credit card numbers are being seen.
Mm. You got a lot of cards.
I do. Black. You said black jack. Mm-hmm. Which one? Club or spade? You said
club.
Black jack of clubs. Tom, my favorite card happens to be the Black Jack of Clubs.
That's awesome.
How does
He's
he,
magic.
How does he do it, Tom?
That is very cool.
That's fun. So there's that, there's a bunch of magic along the way.
Interesting.
That's not gonna, it's not gonna
Interesting.
make its way into the special, but like always
Are
gotta
you the first person to have a Netflix
magic.
show?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Magic comedy special.
That's a huge thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I mean,
Yeah.
it's surprising that Jeff Dunham has 2 Netflix specials. He's the first ventriloquist, but he's made multiples. Magician's got to catch up.
He went through my mind when I was watching your special.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you thinking like, oh man, the luggage?
I was like, this is so much work.
This is right.
No, that it can have that kind of an appeal. It has, because you involve the audience, so we see more of the audience than we do in a lot of shows. We see a lot of them, and I'm watching them all enjoy it so much, and it's a step larger than comedy. This is like there's this extra special thing that's happening, and which Jeff has.
Yeah.
It's like he's funny, but he's also got this other skill
crazy
and
skill.
these puppets and
Yeah.
stuff, and that has that appeal. And something about watching you with that same kind of dynamic and seeing the audience so enjoy it. It was like Dunham went through my mind for a second.
Well, it's almost like I because like the style these days with comedy specials that you don't see the audience at all.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was really important. Like it's almost old school to like be cutting to the audience, but I felt like as the viewer on the couch, you need to keep being reminded that there are people there, and they are amazed. So you should also be. Are they laughing?
It totally worked, and I have to say it. I've always been an advocate for we don't need to see the audience in my specials.
Yeah.
And it made me think, why not?
Right?
Yeah, it made me think, why not? I mean, because I love at the end of my shows, I go out and sign books, and I love seeing the people. I love talking to them and seeing them, and like, oh, you were in the audience. These types of people or whatever. It made me think, why not?
Yeah, I wonder why not. I mean, I feel like maybe it's a slight distraction when you're kind of like,
it can take
what
you
is
out.
she wearing? Who's that guy?
And a lot of times when you should go to the audience in a comedy, but the problem, I think, you got me thinking about it, was a lot of times they'll show like 2 people. They'll cut to 2 people. Invariably, one is enjoying it more than the other.
Yes.
And that always bumps me, like, why didn't that person like it?
Right.
Now I'm thinking about those people and they're still talking, going on to the next thing. I think, though, what was cool about yours, you had some of those tighter shots, but a lot of it was seeing a bunch of people.
Yeah.
All kind of enjoying it.
Yeah.
I think that would be a cool way to use the audience in comedy.
Because I have kids coming to the show too. It's kind
Sure.
of like a mix of families and couples.
Yeah.
And it was tricky because I didn't want people to start watching it and then 5 minutes in be like, and to see a kid in the audience and then subtly think like, oh, should I be watching this? Should I be enjoying this? Is this like I
hate that.
So
I don't like that attitude.
I didn't, yeah.
Really, I don't.
I mean, I like that.
I love that kids are there.
I love that they're there, but I kind of made a point of not letting you, not acknowledge, like not involving any kids in the show till the very end. Just like my target audience is alive. I've got a wide age demographic there.
Yeah.
But I do find like sometimes couples will come who got a sitter for their kids, left them at home, and they're kind of like, I didn't even think about bringing the kids to this. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that's all in the hands of the performer.
Yeah.
If the
I guess
performer calls it out and is like, what's this person doing here? Or like makes a big deal out of it, then it is a big deal. If they just treat them like you have a great young girl who does the dollar trick in the beginning.
Yeah. Oh,
she's so cute.
Oh, that face.
That face. She's just it's great. It's just endearing.
Yeah.
Really, really
For
great.
me, that's what's fun is to rewatch and just to see maybe the faces that I missed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was great.
And to see how people kind of maybe change from the beginning of the show to the end of the show. Because there is a little bit of a just changing people who kind of started like this.
Yeah.
And ended like,
Yeah.
You know.
Well done. It's really great
Thank
special.
you.
It really is good. And I think, if it was, it's the combination of you being really funny and being able to do the magic. I think that's probably why you're the first, because I don't know any of your peers that are kind of in that same space right now. So really well done.
Thank you.
When us as comics are going out and putting together the next thing, you go to clubs and you do whatever, and people come and see you work it out.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to work it out. I mean, and for a magician, working it out, you at least need to have the magic worked out. I mean,
Right.
you can't just.
You gotta do all, but you
like,
can do that at home.
You can limp through a joke, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to work because we know you're doing new stuff. But if you're limping through a trick and then it's like, okay, anyway, here's the wires. Everyone's kind of like,
Yeah.
It's like you dropped your pants.
Yeah.
It's hard to recover from that. So,
Yeah.
but I'm doing a couple clubs. I'm going to do Bricktown in Tulsa.
Cool.
I've never done that club.
I think so.
And I'll do stand up live in Phoenix just to kind of have, production wise, the expectations are a little lighter. So I can kind of focus on the material.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well done. This was really great.
Thanks, Tom.
I
We
really
finally hung
appreciate
out.
it. Yeah, it was very fun.
Do we eat the bread?
You can take it home and eat it.
I do?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
man.
all yours. I have
This
a
is
little bag
great.
for you and everything.
Bread's magic if you think about it.
It is magic.
Now, how does it?
I literally was saying that the other day.
How does it rise up? And then it freezes in time in its final position. It's just frozen there,
Yeah. So,
bursting beautifully.
ta-da.
Ta-da! Thank you.
Do you have another trick that you could do? If we wanted to toss to our Patreon friends at the end.
Oh yeah, I could do. I got a fun trick I'm working out.
Yeah?
Yeah.